Well, Song of Iron is a new side-scrolling action-adventure game inspired by Limbo and developed by a single developer called Joe Winter. So this one is a game that caught my eye during the Summer Games Fest in 2021, and it quickly became one of my most wanted games of the year. So Song of Iron may be a little bit rough around the edges, but I think it can be forgiven due to the one-man team. This is an action platformer set in a Viking setting, so you play as an unnamed Viking, and you can select a male or female Viking, and unfortunately your village has been burnt down, and you're on the lookout for revenge as you do. So the environments include a dark forest, you've got caverns, you've got rivers, and the world and the main character look absolutely fantastic. I think this owes a lot to Joe Winter's background as an animator. You know, the care and attention and the detail that he puts into the game, from the character movement to the environments, really do a good job of promoting the game. Now, a single look at a promoted GIF for this game had me interested. I definitely recommend checking out a trailer for Song of Iron. If this has piqued your interest at all, go to YouTube, check out Song of Iron and see what you think. The story is fairly simple in the game, as are the mechanics, so you can see and you can feel the inspirations of Limbo everywhere you turn, from moving the block puzzles to the huge dangerous enemies that want to tear you apart. Now, combat is a large part of the game, and you'll start out with a simple sword, and as you progress you'll pick up a bow and arrow, a shield and other weapons too. So each weapon has a certain character and feel to it, and it's got a hefty weight as well. So smashing your sword into an opponent feels really good, as well as throwing an axe and picking an arrow from your bow. There's a great amount of care and attention gone into the feel of the game, which I definitely appreciate. So in opposition to many of the video game tropes there are these days, there's no leveling up, no RPG mechanics, no numbers really to be seen. So you get a weapon and you use it until you throw it away, or you find a new one to replace it with. And the only difference really with the weapons are some are two-handed rather than single-handed. And the good thing is enemies drop weapons, so you can pick them up and you can throw them back in their friend's face. So all the weapons feel really good, but I think my favourite is probably the axe. So I like the combat in Song of Iron, but it may not be for everyone. Now, this isn't Hollow Knight level of combat by any means, but it does feel really good and weighty. So the game does a really good job of introducing you to the mechanics early in the game with a nice tutorial walkthrough, and you'll be introduced to the melee, dodge rolling, and also using that shield for your defence. The controls are nice and simple and easy to pick up, but you can chain moves together, and it makes the combat really good fun. So as you make your way through the game, you're going to be picking up magical powers, which you can use to affect your weapons. For example, you can create a flaming sword, or you can also add a little electricity to spice things up just a little bit. So there's other abilities too, like super speed and an effective stomp mechanic. And the abilities are a nice way to mix up the combat. And by the time I got an ability to create the flaming sword, I think I was ready for a change. So as well as the combat, there's also some puzzles too. Most are relatively straightforward puzzles. We have to move a block or interact with the environment to get around a series of traps. The game doesn't really hold your hand or give you any clues, so it definitely is best to have your thinking cap on. Now, some of the puzzles can be a little bit baffling, so in a video game world where you're pretty much given the route handed on a plate in other games, Song of Iron is different and expects you to discover your path forward. For example, before entering the third area underground, there's a puzzle where you have to find a route down below, but the entrance wasn't really obvious to me, and that had me going back and forth quite a lot. But do persevere, it does pay off in the end. Now, platforming around the environments is another major part of Song of Iron, but it can be a little bit cumbersome at times. Again, it feels a little bit rough around the edges. You know, this isn't Celeste, but it is adequate. You know, I played the game with the controller throughout. I did hear in an interview that the developer focused mainly on the mouse and keyboard first, and then the controller after. So I don't know if this added to the feeling of not feeling quite right on a controller, but the fact the developer mentioned this, so I couldn't really shake it from my mind. But one outstanding feature of the game are the visuals. This looks incredible. From the character design to the environments, it's just a gorgeous looking game. It looks great on PC, but it would look even better on Nintendo Switch. However, I don't think the game is coming to other platforms anytime soon, other than the Xbox and PC. The Song of Iron is a fairly straightforward game. There's not much of a HUD to speak of, and the feedback you get is on screen throughout the game. You know, this is a game that caught my eye throughout the summer with some clever marketing and also a free demo as well. And I'm really pleased that I played the game on its full release. You know, if you like Limbo and ever wondered what it'd be like to live in this world if you're a Viking, then imagine no more and go and check out Song of Iron. You know, I really don't think you're going to be disappointed. So the game was developed and published by Resting Relic and Escape LLC. It's come out on PC and Xbox, and was originally released on the 31st of August 2021. Well, that is it for my review of Song of Iron, a really nice little indie game of 2021. If you like indies, I'd recommend going out there and trying Song of Iron. It's really, really good stuff. It's not very long. It's about 3 to 4 hours in the full playthrough. You can probably finish it in an afternoon or over the weekend, but because of the visuals and the feel, I do think it is a special little game, so go and check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again. I'll see you soon.